The Terminator 1984 wasn't just another sci-fi movie. It was the birth of a multi-billion-dollar franchise, raw practical effects colliding with an unstoppable killing machine. But behind the explosions and iconic visuals, a deleted ending that spoiled the sequel, a dark crossover that created a hybrid monster with acidic blood, and a real-life lawsuit claiming the story is secretly connected to the Matrix. These are 15 hidden truths about the Terminator. And buried inside them is one mind-bending theory. John Connor may have had a completely different father in the original timeline. Number 1. The deleted Cyberdyne ending. The most significant scene cut from the Terminator would have completely altered the audience's understanding of the timeline. In this deleted alternate ending, the camera pans up after the final factory battle to reveal that the machine was destroyed inside Cyberdyne systems, where technicians, including a young Miles Dyson, discover the smashed CPU and arm and order them to be sent immediately to research and development. This explicitly confirms a bootstrap paradox, proving that Skynet was actually created from its own future technology, effectively setting the entire stage for the sequel in Terminator 2: Judgment Day. However, James Cameron ultimately chose to cut this sequence to keep the film's finale focused on the emotional journey of Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese. Number 2. The secret first version of John Connor. Have you ever wondered how John Connor could send his own father back in time before John was even born? It's the ultimate chicken and egg paradox that has confused fans for decades. One mind-blowing explanation is known as the Timeline Alpha theory. According to this theory, Sarah Connor never met Kyle Reese at all. Instead, she had a child with Stan Morsky, the date who cancels on her over the phone at the start of the movie. This child, often known as Original John, grew up to lead the human resistance and eventually made the decision to send Kyle Reese back to 1984 to protect his mother. But that single act created a new John Connor with completely different DNA, effectively erasing the original leader from existence. Number 3. The soldier who never made it. In James Cameron's original 1982 draft, Kyle Reese wasn't sent back alone. John Connor actually sent a second soldier named Sumner to assist in the mission. However, a catastrophic displacement failure occurred during the transport. While Kyle landed safely, Sumner materialized in the wrong coordinates, trapped within the structure of a steel fire escape. This tragic malfunction ended his journey instantly, leaving Kyle to face the past entirely on his own. This trauma explains why Reese is so twitchy, paranoid, and wild throughout the film. He is a man who saw his only backup die in the very first second. Number 4. The origin name of the Terminator. Did you know that the word T-800 is actually never mentioned once in the original 1984 film? Even though that's what everyone calls the character today, throughout the entire first movie, he is exclusively known as the Cyberdyne Systems Model 101. This is a specific distinction that many casual fans often misunderstand. In the Terminator universe, T-800 refers to the series of the metal endoskeleton, while Model 101 refers specifically to the living tissue or the physical appearance. Basically, Skynet could put many different human faces on the same robot frame, but 101 is the specific look that belongs to Arnold Schwarzenegger. By using the number 101, director James Cameron was subtly hinting that this Arnold-style skin was the standard basic model Skynet utilized for its primary infiltration missions. Number 5. The Alien Connection. Beyond the script, there are incredible connections linking the Terminator franchise to legendary alien universes. This is most evident in the specific dialogue, when the android Bishop introduces himself by saying, "I'm the Hyperdyne Systems 120A2 model." This name is a direct, intentional nod to Cyberdyne Systems, the corporation responsible for creating Skynet in the Terminator. While this began as a clever Easter egg in James Cameron's mind, the connection was expanded significantly in the 2000 Dark Horse Comics crossover, Aliens vs. Predator vs. the Terminator. In this expanded universe, the story reveals that after Skynet's initial defeat in 2032, its core programs survived by hiding within computer networks for centuries. Eventually, in 2030-81, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation discovers this ancient Terminator technology and attempts to fuse it with xenomorph DNA to create a terrifying hybrid soldier known as the New Breed. Number 6. Skynet's ultimate killing machine. In the comic book universe, Skynet and Weyland-Yutani Corporation secretly created a terrifying machine known as the New Breed. This was an experiment that merged Skynet's metal endoskeleton with xenomorph organic skin and tissue. The New Breed deadliest weapon is their acidic blood that will spray out and instantly melt weapons, armor, or anything it touches in battle. Because they carry alien DNA, they also inherit brutal hunting instincts and near-perfect stealth, making them much faster and deadlier than standard Terminators. To stop this nightmare, the cloned Ripley 8 teamed up with an elder Predator to fight these unstoppable hybrids. In the end, they managed to defeat them and wipe out the New Breed completely. Number 7. The famous line that almost blocked. Everyone knows the iconic line, "I'll be back." But it almost didn't happen. Arnold Schwarzenegger actually hated that line. He argued with Cameron, wanting to say, "I will be back" instead. While he claimed a robot wouldn't use contractions, the real reason was his thick Austrian accent. Arnold struggled to pronounce "I'll" clearly and felt his tongue get twisted on camera. Cameron refused to budge, telling Arnold to stick to acting. It's a good thing he did. The line became a global sensation and Arnold's personal trademark. He has since used it in nearly all his films, including Commando, The Running Man, Total Recall, and even Twins. What started as a line Arnold struggled to speak ended up becoming the most famous quote in movie history.
"I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Stay here. I'll be back."
Number 8. Why Skynet was scared of its own perfect killer. Have you ever wondered why Skynet sent their old version T-800 back to 1984 instead of the far more advanced liquid metal T-1000? At first, it felt like a bad decision. The T-1000 is faster, smarter, and almost impossible to destroy, so why not send it first? One popular theory says the T-1000 was a prototype with a high level of independence. It could think, adapt, and make decisions on its own. That made Skynet worry that the machine could eventually develop its own goals and possibly turn against its creator. By the time of Terminator 2, Skynet was losing the war, and with no other options left, it took a desperate risk and sent its most dangerous weapon, even if it couldn't fully control it. Number 9. Sting and the Piranha 2 curse. Finding the right actor to play Kyle Reese was actually a major struggle for the production team. Before they found Michael Biehn, James Cameron actually wanted the famous musician Sting for the role. Cameron felt that Sting had an otherworldly look that was perfect for a soldier who had spent his entire life in a future war zone. However, Sting turned the part down because he was worried about the director's reputation. At the time, James Cameron's only major movie was a low-budget horror film about flying piranhas, and Sting did not want to be associated with a project that looked like a cheap B-movie. This rejection eventually paved the way for Michael Biehn to take the role. Number 10. The Acknowledgment scandal. If you look closely at the end credits of The Terminator, you'll find a strange line that feels completely out of place. Acknowledgment to the works of Harlan Ellison. This wasn't a friendly tribute. It was the result of a high-stakes legal ambush that nearly derailed the entire franchise. Legendary author Harlan Ellison claimed the film's core ideas were taken from 2 episodes he wrote for the 1960s series The Outer Limits. The first episode, titled Soldier, features two warriors from a nuclear-ravaged future who are accidentally transported back in time through a time portal during a battle. The second, Demon with a Glass Hand, follows a man who discovers he is actually a robot sent from the future to preserve the human race. These striking similarities, future soldiers, time portals, and hidden robotic identities, forced the studio to settle out of court, pay Ellison a massive sum, and add his name to every print of the movie forever. Number 11. The secret connection to The Matrix. Some fans believe the Terminator and The Matrix actually take place in the same shared universe. One of the wildest pieces of evidence behind this theory comes from a real-life legal battle. A writer named Sophia Stewart once sued the creators of both films, claiming they were based on her 1981 manuscript titled The Third Eye. She argued that the two movies were never meant to be separate stories, but different chapters of one long sci-fi saga she had written years earlier. The lawsuit itself was extremely controversial and remains widely debated, but many fans see it as a kind of smoking gun connecting the two worlds. According to the theory, the Terminator represents the early stages of humanity's war against machines, while The Matrix shows the final outcome where the machines have won and trapped humans inside a simulated reality. Number 12. The most expensive words in history. While Arnold Schwarzenegger is the ultimate star of the original Terminator film, he barely speaks a word. In the entire 1984 movie, the T-800 has only 17 lines of dialogue, totaling fewer than 100 words. This wasn't because of Arnold's acting, it was a calculated choice by James Cameron to make the character feel like a terrifying, heartless machine. By staying silent, the T-800 feels less like a human and more like a predator that cannot be reasoned with. What's even more shocking is the paycheck. Arnold was paid $750,000 for the role, meaning he earned approximately $7,500 for every single word he spoke. Number 13. The secret setting that made the Terminator too smart. One shocking fan theory suggests the 1984 Terminator's brain was accidentally unlocked by Skynet before it was sent back in time. In the Terminator 2 director's cut, we learn that Skynet usually sets its units to read-only mode. This is a safety measure to prevent the robots from thinking for themselves or becoming too human. However, the 1984 machine actually grows and adapts throughout the movie. It learns slang from punks, selects specific insults from an internal list, and even mimics Sarah's mother's voice to trick her. This has led fans to believe Skynet accidentally left this unit in learning mode. This tiny mistake allowed the machine to evolve its infiltration techniques on the fly, making it much more dangerous than a standard locked robot. Number 14. The man who was too nice for the role. One of the strangest casting stories in movie history is that a studio executive once suggested O.J. Simpson for the role of the Machine. At the time, he was a massive star and a very popular athlete with a friendly public image from his commercials. However, James Cameron and the producers ultimately rejected the idea for a very ironic reason. They honestly believed that he was simply too likable to be believable as a cold, relentless antagonist. They didn't think the audience would accept him as a machine capable of such ruthless intensity. This decision is often discussed by film historians today because his public image changed so drastically due to his massive controversies a decade later in 1994. If he had been cast, the entire legacy of the movie might have been overshadowed, and the franchise we know today might never have survived. Number 15. The Kitchen Pan Soundtrack. The famous Terminator theme song has a metallic, robotic sound that feels like a machine's heartbeat. The composer, Brad Fiedel, created that iconic clank-clank sound using a cast-iron frying pan from his own kitchen. He hit the pan with a hammer, recorded the noise, and used it to build the movie's main beat. Even the weird rhythm of the music was a total accident. While Fiedel was recording, he missed the beat slightly. Instead of fixing it, he realized the offbeat timing felt nervous and scary, like someone being chased. This mistake ended up creating one of the most recognizable theme songs in movie history. From the metallic clang of a kitchen frying pan to the terrifying biological horror of the new breed hybrids, the Terminator remains a masterpiece built on production secrets and mind-bending paradoxes. Whether it's the mystery of John Connor's true father or the accidental learning mode that made the T-800 so deadly, this franchise reminds us that our future and our technology might be trapped in an infinite loop where the machines are responsible for their own creation. If we are building our own AI today, it makes you wonder, are we simply fulfilling a destiny that has already been written? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of sci-fi.